have a lot of limited units to choose from in Wuthering Waves, but which ones are the absolute cream of the crop? That's what I aim to tell you today. My name is Juice, and let's get into it. Kicking things right off at number 5, we have Camellia. She's fantastic for a multitude of reasons, which have held up well to this day, including how amazing she is in both TOA and Whimpering Wastes. And she's not just good in Whimpering Wastes. Now, wouldn't that be the understatement of the century? No, she is amazing there. The Crazy Lady's red hair mode, which is tailored towards mowing down AoE enemy Wuthering Waves, is just perfect for the type of game mode that Whimpering Wastes is. No matter how hard the game mode has gotten, she has consistently been one of the best options that you can choose to take on any reset. And considering how well she does in TOA as well, she ends up being a very valuable package. This all isn't even mentioning how strong she is on a free-to-play friendly setup. One of her cheapest teammates also happens to be one of her best, that being Sanhua. Sure, you can upgrade to Roshia if you want to, but because pulling for Roshia is such a minuscule increase, you're able to get really top-of-the-line performance out of using this free 4-star character. All that basic percent buffing in Sanhua's outro is truly a blessing. Also, her ease of use is just ridiculous. You have to try in order to mess up Camellia. Her gameplay is literally as foolproof as it gets, no matter what game mode that you're in, and while you can choose to optimize by using her white hair mode against bosses if you so choose, you can still very easily get away with just using her red hair mode against bosses all the time. She's easily one of the best 5-star pulls that you can make on this game on the whole. And yes, like any Wuthering Waves DPS, she does enjoy having her signature weapon. However, what I will say is that she gets by very well on Emerald of Genesis. Compared to other Wuthering Waves main DPSs, she actually gets by really well on a standard weapon. Certainly an amazing unit for sure. However, we do have better to discuss, such as the esteemed Montelli Lady Carlotta. She is easily one of the best pulls that you can make in Wuthering Waves. She's an incredibly powerful main DPS, being capable of dealing some ridiculous amounts of single target damage. If you ever have a problem with any sort of boss encounter, whether that be in the TOA or against holograms, Carlotta is going to be the lady to call for the job, because she mows down that type of content. Her ease of use is also very high. She's not very difficult to understand. Pretty much anybody is able to pull off her rotation easily and make the most out of her. And yes, while she does enjoy having her signature weapon a lot, you will get by just fine on Static Mist, because that is just how high her damage baseline is. Take it from me as somebody who's been playing her on Static Mist all this time since I missed Last Dance on her first banner. She feels like an instant win button. She's extremely convenient to play. It's very nice that her skill is able to freeze enemies in place for a short period of time. Her range has consistently proven to be a very useful tool, especially with bosses that move around a lot, and while you might think that the single target-centric character wouldn't be that good in Whimpering Wastes, you would actually be wrong. She's really solid in that mode. I will say the higher quality your build, the better, because then individual death knell shots are able to take down enemy waves with good positioning. But if you're able to achieve that, then with a little bit of extra skill, you're able to get some really solid Whimpering Wastes clears of her. So this means that she too is really good in all game modes. I will say though, TOA and holograms, those are her domains, but she is definitely still good in the more AoE-centric mode. Just goes to show how freaking powerful she is. She's also extremely versatile when it comes to her team building. If the character provides skill percent on outro, then the esteemed Montelli Lady can enjoy their company. Brant Wuthering Waves, Cantarella, the obvious choice of Silly Painter Joja, you get the idea. The sky's the limit with her team building, and she gets by just fine using either Yang Yang or Sanhua as a free-to-play friendly teammate. In fact, Yang Yang's an especially nice one, because she's able to provide some additional energy on outro. This isn't even mentioning our quick swap capabilities of Chang Li, and if you're able to execute that team well, then it performs excellently. Definitely a cream of the crop unit, but not the cream of the crop. For instance, next up we have to discuss Zani. That's right, I'm putting Zani above Carlotta. This is for one main core reason, that being, while Carlotta is indeed able to work in every single game mode, so is Zani, but Zani has the edge in Whimpering Wastes, thus making her a stronger character on the whole, not to mention how she also features amazing ease of use, with some absurd damage numbers. Now yes, Zani is quite expensive. She does want Confession Phoebe in order to perform at her absolute fullest, but because her damage baseline is so high, she's still able to clear TOA with a relatively free-to-play friendly team. She also feels great in multi-wave, because she doesn't constantly need Frazzle to be applied on enemies at all times. She just needs Frazzle to be applied to the enemies at some point during the rotation. And her slashes have quite a wide AoE, so she feels very adaptable to many different scenarios. And with high investment, oh my goodness, have you got yourself an absolute nuclear bomb of a unit. The more of Zani's puzzle pieces you have, the better. Her signature weapon, Phoebe signature, all of those are major boosts to her damage output. But Zani on her own, even without all of those additional upgrades, is still a very, very good DPS. Her overall versatility on any account makes her a prime 5-star pull. I can understand why this placement might feel somewhat controversial considering how much she does really want Confession Phoebe, so how good is that character really if they want another 5-star so badly in order to perform at their max potential? I can understand that, but because her damage with her premium team is so good, and I'm evaluating these characters holistically, I feel like Zani is definitely one of the best limited units in the entire game. However, with that being said, right above her we have Phoebe. I think this is genuinely one of the best characters that you can pull for in all of Wuthering Waves. It is ridiculous how much value is jam-packed into this sweet little acolyte, because goodness me, she is Spectral Frazzle. If you care about that archetype and you really want to play that negative status to the fullest, then you really want to get a Phoebe. She has a ridiculous amount of Spectral Frazzle amplification in her Confession state, making her a prime support for units such as Zani. And considering how strong that DPS is when well invested into, that easily makes Phoebe a very valuable support. I personally expect Phoebe to remain as the premium slot-in for all Spectral Frazzle related teams for a very long time. She does so much for the archetype. I really can't see Kuro Games making another character like her anytime soon. And this isn't even touching on her DPS capabilities. Oh my freaking goodness. To say that the Acolyte has it all would be an understatement. Her gameplay is extremely simple to understand. A couple of normal attacks, heavy attack. A couple of normal attacks, heavy attack. It is foolproof. As long as you have Spectral Frazzle applied on the enemies at all times, you're good to go. And she gives herself a crud ton of free stats. She's also one of the most free-to-play friendly units in all of Wuthering Waves, and I say this because her team is truly free-to-play friendly. Spectra, Rover, and Sanhua are both free characters. You can get both of them very early on. Sanhua is free. Rover is literally the main character. Everybody has access to those two, and they make for a very good Absolution Phoebe DPS team. And if you don't want to use Sanhua with her, then Mortefi's a really good side grade. And she recently got an excellent improvement to your teams in the form of Shakona, a unit who's able to apply Spectral Frazzle from off-field, fixing Absolution Phoebe's biggest issue, that being that she felt kind of clunky to use a multi-wave, because you constantly had to switch back to Spectra Rover in order to apply Spectral Frazzle to a brand new enemy wave. And then consider this! That means that Phoebe is now really solid in Whimpering Wastes, whereas previously she felt kind of awkward to use there. Now she is officially amazing in every single endgame mode, while having amazing supportive capabilities for a very powerful DPS unit, while being as free-to-play accessible as it gets. To say that Phoebe is one of the best limited 5-star pulls that you could make would be the understatement of the century. I feel like nobody expected her to be this good, I certainly didn't, but look where we are now. This unit has only gotten better and better over time, and I can't see that stopping anytime soon. Phoebe enjoyers, you are all seriously eating well. And number 1, come on, this was really predictable. Of course it's Astral Modulation. Doo! This unit remains as being one of the most goated supports in the game, being best in slot in almost every single team that you can imagine. Her Resonance Liberation is capable of dishing out a lovely amount of additional crit rate and damage. 12.5% crit rate and 25% crit damage is no small amount. She's able to amplify the damage that all of your party members deal by 15% through her outro skill, which is a wonderful universal buff that affects everyone. And she's also able to buff everybody's attack through echoes, mainly through 5-piece Rejuvenating Glow, and through using Fallacy of No Return. Notice how healing is probably the last reason that you would pull for her. She's just an amazing buffer, through and through. It's easily the main excellent thing that she's got going for her. Think about it like this. Let's say you're playing a Chang Li and Brant Wuthering Waves team. You're still gonna want to use Shorekeeper there, because even though Brant is able to heal and shield himself, you're mostly using Shorekeeper because her buffing is amazing. She is demanded across so many teams, and 100% still remains as the best Wuthering Waves limited 5-star to this day. It's interesting to me to see how Rinascita's meta has changed over time. For example, at the start of Rinascita, I 100% would have had somebody like Jojo on this list. And I never could have predicted that Phoebe would have been this good. I knew she was strong on launch, but she ended up being ridiculously powerful. The only real constant here is that Shorekeeper is still number 1. Of course, if a character didn't make it on this list, then that doesn't mean that they're drastically worse than the characters that I chose to talk about here. But all the units that I've talked about have remarkable pull value in my opinion. I definitely look forward to seeing where things go from here. But how about yourself? Do you agree with this top 5, or do you have some differing opinions? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. As always, I have a ZZZ second channel. Head on over and subscribe if you're interested in some fun, silly ZZZ content. I'd also like to mention that I stream on Twitch. I stream once a week, every week on Saturday, starting from 3 PM UK time. Come along so we can play Wuthering Waves, ZZZ, and do some more fun stuff together. Hopefully this video is able to tell you who the top 5 best limited units in Wuthering Waves are. This has been Juice, signing out. And I suppose this means that if you have faith in the Imperator, you will end up being a very, very meta unit, huh?